Okay, so how do you get great audio even with little means? You gotta have proper levels, meaning it's not too high, it's not too low. That's what this video is about. Adding some reverb can make it sound much more cinematic. And after cleaning up audio, adding environmental sounds, it can enhance the overall mix. But before doing that, this video is sponsored by Comica, and they have given me a VM30 to give away. So comment below how this mic would help you to tell a great story. Now it's on. Okay, wireless. Ho ho ho. Oh, it just worked. If you also have noise, or if you also have something going on, it's hard to put a compressor that is standardized. I think for me, to speed my work up, I want to be in the same range, because that makes it easier when you sound mix, which I'm going to touch upon a little bit later. But for this, I'm about minus 15 to minus 10 is where I'm at. You gotta record with low noise. You gotta record a good distance to the mic. This case is, I guess, about a half a meter. So about a half a meter away is the ideal length, I think, because if you're closer than that, like a lav, it can, become a bit like this and sound weird. But half a meter is, also, you don't want to go further than that, because then you're getting a bit too far to get the crisp audio. And the crisp audio is, something that happens when you can get all the other noise away and get focused just on the person. But if you just imagine, if I turn my head, it's not ideal anymore. If I turn this way, it sounds not as good. If I turn this way, it does not sound as good. When I come towards the mic, it sounds a lot better. But you can also fix this with a compressor and stuff in post. But you will always get a little bit of a distortion when you don't have that type of crisp audio. And if I turn around, then it's not gonna be that good either, because then I'm talking this way, and then the sound is going in that direction instead of going, towards the camera. So that's like some basics. And I think when you want to record something, the general idea is like half a meter. Get a half a meter away, perfect. Now, when you're putting lavs and that sort of stuff, then that is not the type of recordings that you're gonna make. But with a microphone, that's what you want. So when you put a microphone on a camera, you want to be half a meter away. It's that simple. You don't want to be further away if you want crisp audio. Then you should go with a lav or a boom. That's how you get crisp audio. And that's what's challenging when you're making run and gun or documentary styled projects. Because most of the time people use lenses to put them further away. But this is a limitation, that if you cannot put a lav or have a boom operator working on your project, then you should not shoot the film in that way. And you should adapt to that scenario. You should be closer to your subjects at all times. So you use wide angle lenses, which look really good. You can get that anamorphic look. Use like super wide angle lenses and be half a meter away. If you're pushing it a meter with a good mic, like the Sennheiser 416, that's fine. But that's the ideal scenario. That's rarely what happens when you shoot docs. But that's what you should know, that is the ideal scenario. And then you have to adapt to whatever situation and scenario you have. Maybe half a meter is super taxing on the people you're filming, where you're just half a meter away all the time. That's a reality as well. Then maybe you should push away and not be that close. So think about like how audio is affected by the situation that you are in, because it's not that like cut and dry that like this best audio, like technically best audio, that doesn't matter if you're shooting a film and the audience can sense that you're destroying the narrative and the story and the relationship to the character you're filming because you're too close or whatever it might be. So you gotta be flexible. Now this mic, it's priced pretty cheaply. This mic on top here This is a MKH50 P48, a Sennheiser. It's a very expensive mic, I think. Let me just check what the price is. Probably very different. Okay, so the Sennheiser mic from 1,400 to about 2,000. It's sort of pricey. And then the VM30, Comica VM30, 180 to 200. Yeah, so it's 10 times as expensive. But actually, I got an idea. Let me put both up, so we can get a sense of which one is best. This is the Comica mic, me talking, and this sounds, you know, like a good mic, right? I hope. Haven't listened to it yet. But this is then the MKH50 Sennheiser mic, which is pricey, 10 times as, you know, more expensive. So one cool thing about the VM30 is that it can work both wirelessly and, you know, with cable. So you can use it without any cables when you want to be without them, or you can just plug it in and you can get it to work that way when you need to. It's really flexible and handy in that way. I use it both ways when I'm outside shooting or when I'm inside like this in the studio. It's really great that you can choose, I think, because sometimes you want it battery driven and sometimes you don't want it. You know, phantom power doesn't always work. And another great feature is this 75 to 150 low cut high frequency boost. It might sound a bit technical, but what it is basically, it's just that it helps you to make your sound more clear. The low cut filter gets rid of unwanted background noises, and the high frequency boost, it just makes my voice sound even clearer. And this is stuff that you can do in post, but it's great when you have it in this one. And I've been really happy with it. It's small, easy to use, and the sound quality is good. So if you're making docs or any video really, this is a mic that can really help you improve your audio. So thanks so much to Comica for supporting this channel and letting me give one of these away to you guys. So comment below if you want to win one, and then we'll see who is the lucky winner, I guess. Every microphone, it has an inherent noise floor as well, meaning, you know, how noisy it is. And the better the amplifier or the microphone, the cleaner it will sound. And this can be taken away, you know, in post, but let's listen to this mic and to the Sennheiser mic, just how they sound if I stay quiet for a while. So you can just hear the difference in these. What did you think? Interesting, right? But that's how different mics sound. And in a compressed YouTube setting, you might not hear this even. But in a cinema, you would, because it's so detailed, it's so crisp. Or in headphones, you would. So think about where you are trying to show your stuff. That matters. What type of audio you have to record and how you should process it. I always strive to clean up the environment as much as I can on location, you know, closing windows, shutting off AC units, and moving away from noisy areas. And that's like the key aspects of making crisp audio. You often have to deal, you know, with the magic of just making things work on shoots, and sound mixing plays a huge role in this. Like, programs now have automated features to remove noise and adjust levels, and, you know, it makes things much easier to do. And when you mix the audio, you gotta remember that different platforms also have different level requirements. For TV, for instance, audio is usually at around like minus 12 dB, I guess, for voices. But then the other sound, like music and stuff, should be minus 20 dB. And like, that doesn't mean anything if you have artistic storytelling, because maybe you need to have the music be louder to create the feelings that you want to have. But the audio should always be crisp, and therefore I usually put like a equalizer on my audio where I would raise the 1K range of the frequencies, and in music and sound effects and all that, I will lower it to make room for, you know, the voices. So choose a location with good audio and visuals. Sometimes outdoor shots are the only options, but always listen to the audio first. You know, if there's a loud noise like the sea or something like that, shoot away from it. In hotel rooms, turn the AC off and close the windows to minimize noise. I always listen to the audio, you know, before I record. This might sound obvious, but many people overlook this. It's the easiest way to make it sound a lot more crisp. And in post-production, you can enhance audio significantly if you recorded it well in the first place. I use equalizers and noise reduction features to just remove unwanted noise and to crisp things up. And the compressor helps to compress the audio, you know, where the subject is speaking in different levels. It's oftentimes in the minus 15 dB range that it will raise the noise floor. And then below that, it will not touch things. So it's a good way to get all the audio that is around that area higher. Or you would go down to like minus 20 dB, for instance, and then you would raise everything. But you wouldn't raise the noise, you know, because the noise is often lower than whatever, minus 20, minus 25. So that's basically what you do with a compressor. You raise just the voice. And that is evened out because you go a little bit more like this. Like the stuff that's low get a little bit closer, and the stuff that's high gets a little bit closer. So it aligns more and gets more consistent. That's what audio mixing is a big part of it, is that. And that's what most people don't do on YouTube, so do it. It will separate yourself a lot in terms of professionality. Check out the links below to learn more about how to purchase the VM30. If you want to win one of these, then just let me know in the comments. How can this mic help you tell a better story, and what the story is, you know? And tell me about the challenges you're facing in filmmaking. One of the people that does that will win one of these VM30s.